Oh my gosh, it is the last Thursday that we're going live in 2023. What's going on, Kristen?
Well, we are here. It's December. It's the end of 2023.
We made it through kind of a wild year this year.
Yeah, a lot of things have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, every month seems like there's been something really exciting to talk about.
There
So
is.
we love it here.
Well, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to go live and talk to you guys. This is probably going to be one of our longer live streams. We've got a lot of things to talk about of like what's going on here in Orlando over the past year. And I also want to hear from you guys. Obviously, that's how we're going to start the show, finding out where you're from. And so let us know down below where you guys watching from and what are you excited about that you were able to either accomplish this year, whether it's personally or maybe something that was in the news. We want to chat it through. And I always find this interesting, Kristen. Like you think about the news that comes out. And some people think that, oh, did you see this news story? It's going to completely change everything.
Yes.
And then a month goes by and sometimes it doesn't.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, it's
funny.
like the actual news gets everybody hyped and excited and worked up. And then what happens? That was like 3 years ago.
That was
right?
yeah. So it's funny. So we're going to use actually some of like time on our side, looking back and saying, okay, like some of the articles that came out, how did that actually affect? Did it actually change anything? And maybe where we're at, a year later on some of these stories. But let's start checking in with some people. So we got Stephanie James checking in from Simpsonville, South Carolina. I appreciate you very much. Juliet saying hi from New York. Happy holidays to you as well. Joseph saying, what's going on? Merry Christmas. Joseph and Robin from Eastern North Carolina. We got L. Roberts checking in from Austin. Good to see you. Robert, my dude, checking in from Clermont. I hope you're doing well. Brenda, Merry Christmas to you as well. St. Charles, Illinois. We've got Vicken checking in. We've got people from Bellingham, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Connecticut. Kim, you're closing on your house soon.
Oh my gosh, Kim,
Hope you're doing
congratulations.
so well. Did you guess where JJ Hernandez is from?
Where?
Hunters Creek. He's like the unofficial. If I'm the official or unofficial hype man for Orlando, JJ is the unofficial hype man for Hunters Creek.
You know what we need? We need one of those maps and we put dots anytime somebody says they're from somewhere. So we can be like, look at where everybody's watching on the live, right?
That's right. Oh, that would be a great idea.
That would be so fun.
So cool. Winston's checking in. He said, dude, good to see you and Kay.
Hey,
Say hello from the Space Coast. Man, this guy's always watching the replay. And so the fact that you're hanging out, hopefully that means you got some time off for the holiday season. That's what that means. Brandy checking in from Northern Virginia. We got Andy checking in, going from Western PA. My family's planning to move to Orlando soon, and they're coming down to meet with Dylan on the first week of the year. That's so cool. Congratulations. So keep jumping in. I so appreciate it. Kim said she is closing soon. Excited for her move to Florida, and we're excited to have you.
Absolutely.
So Kristen, how you been lately? What's going on with you?
Oh my gosh, so much. I feel like everything's always a whirlwind. The end of the year always comes so fast, but also so slowly. Does that make sense?
It does. It's like hurry up and get there. And then all of a sudden it's there and you're like, wow,
what just happened? So, family's coming into town, getting the house ready, all the decorations. We still don't have any Christmas lights in front of our
Are they
house.
staying with you? People staying with you?
No, thank goodness. No offense, family. But at a distance is great. So just lots of stops. John's family, my family. What about you?
We're staying local. So we traveled a ton for Halloween or for what's the last holiday that we had? Thanksgiving. And from there, we decided to just like put a little hiatus on travel. I traveled so much this year for work.
Did? Oh my goodness.
I was gone. I think I traveled like 20 times between family and work.
How's
and
the Sky Miles account?
Amazing. Like I'm getting free flights for sure next year. And so, although did you hear about Delta? Delta actually backed up their whole, like the way that they count Sky Miles.
I saw because I have the Delta Sky Miles as well. And I
So
barely ever accumulate them because I travel maybe two, three times max a year. And now I'm never getting anything.
No,
so
of course
like,
not.
What's the point, Delta?
So for us, we were just kind of like going through the like just the chill. We're like preparing the house a little bit and gonna try to maybe enjoy Disney, although it's crazy right now. It might be a little insane.
Luck if you do.
Yeah, crazy. So Miami Coffee's checking in saying, what's going on? Great idea with the pins. We appreciate you. Anna Maria's checking in from Windermere. So a little bit, I love this. This is my favorite thing that we do is like figuring out where you guys are watching from and talking with you. But it's so cool, Kristen, because our audience continues to be both local and all over the country.
Yeah, all over. Sometimes
so
international too. Do we occasionally get some people from?
We definitely did.
From Canada.
From Canada.
Canada.
We got Travis, my dude, checking in. I appreciate you. Hope you and Anna are well. Let me just check this real quick. I got a little this little FaceTime thing. There we go. Oh, let's see, this works here. So if I go here, oh, it works. Great. All right, we are actually ready to go. So all right, so let's take it back to January 2nd of 2023.
Cool. So we're gonna start at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
We're gonna go through each month. We're gonna talk about the highlights.
Yep. Yeah, the highlight. Well, maybe the highlights are like just the news stories. And so okay, picture this. It is the second day of the year and you're like, let's go to Icon Park and let's check out some of the rides we've got. And then if you are these sad people, they got stuck 400 feet in the air.
Gosh, that was my worst nightmare.
My absolute nightmare. And not only did they get stuck on it, but remember this, like this whole thing, people trapped on a 400-foot Ferris wheel and then it caught on fire. That seems absolutely terrible.
What's
like
that,
terrifying to me.
Final Destination.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
no, thank you. Absolutely not.
Final Destination is the #1 reason why I don't drive behind big trucks with the
like
wood.
metal poles or wood
mold,
in
yeah.
the
Like,
back.
oh, that's for sure gonna fall off, hit me, and then no more lives.
That's it.
Yeah,
right,
that's pretty much it.
So that was pretty traumatic for January. But
really
but
was.
on a personal note,
Yes.
that was my first ever marathon.
Disney
was the
marathon?
Disney Marathon. So January holds a little special place in my heart. I'm so sorry that I don't get to share that with these people who were trapped on the 400-foot.
You were running and they were running for their lives. Those are very, very similar things.
Same thing. Yeah.
Let's check in. Florida Man says, hey, we met with Lindsay from your office last night about a possible listing. She's very impressive. Lindsay is very impressive.
She's so impressive.
I freaking love her. She's got
the kindest soul, just like the most wonderful mom, just a positive light. I could talk about her all day.
Yep.
I mean, she's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I love Lindsay. If you're listening, I'm your biggest fan.
We're big Lindsay fans. Let's see. So Libra checking in. Carol from Clermont. Good to say hi. L. Robert says, that's why I don't like those open height rides. Just height rides in general. Like I feel like this kind of thing. So they were, thankfully nobody was hurt during this kind of thing.
Emotionally distressed, but
obviously
physically we're fine.
Yeah. And so what else happened? We had another one pop open. So this also happened January 18th of this year. Orlando proposes changes for nightclubs and alcohol sales. Now this was actually, this is something for 250 different restaurants, bars, food trucks across Central Florida. They were going to shut down, before it used to be you could stay open really, really late at night. Yeah. And they were trying to cut down on crime.
Right, because there was a statistic that was released, right? That after it was 1 p.m. or 12 p.m., that was when like crime rates skyrocketed.
AM, yeah, exactly. So it was like,
AM.
Yeah, and so they were looking at like, hey, if we're going to stay open, you need to apply for a permit and you have to have security be at your restaurant or bar or that kind of thing.
That
really
you are paying
that
for
you're paying
as the
for.
Business, yeah.
And then this is an interesting story to talk about from hindsight looking forward or looking back is this actually did work. We saw crime go down.
We did.
And then the city put together a statistic and said, okay, basically if we keep running this way, maybe we add some more funds, we bring on some more police officers. Let's try to continue to make downtown safer and safer. It's still not the most safe place in all of Central Florida.
Yeah, at 1 a.m., of course. But the thing about this is I remember when this article was released, there was just the biggest outroar.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everybody,
out.
This is going to ruin downtown business. This is going to be such a pain. And actually it's helped because now patrons feel more comfortable visiting these establishments. So, hey, that's one of the points of this, right? It's
like I want to go downtown.
Right?
Anna says she finally met Kristen the other night at DHS. Hi, Kristen.
Oh, yeah. Hi. She did. She came up to me. I was standing in line to get some food.
Yes. Was it good?
It was actually pretty good.
Was it Jollywood Nights?
Jollywood Nights.
Okay.
I would say the only thing is the portions were tiny. So the picture of the tembleque that John really wanted looked huge. And then we got it. It was this little BB thing.
It was a couple bites and it was over.
It was 2 bites. It was over.
That's brutal.
But it was still tasty.
That's good. At least it wasn't small and disgusting.
There's that.
That sounds terrible. All right. So then let's go into February. So we made it to February now. And this was the probably one of the largest stories of the year.
Oh, it was. We're still talking about this.
We're still talking about it. And so Desantis signs law stripping Disney World of Reedy Creek control. This was February of 27th of this year. And so basically, his whole thing, we've heard this echoing across the internet. Today, the corporate kingdom finally comes to an end. And like, it's been interesting to see, like, I don't really get into politics one way or the other, but it's been interesting to see that like not a ton has changed
really,
for the positive.
Well, the biggest fear I think that people had in general were the taxes, right?
Yeah.
Is this going to be put on homeowners? Is this going to become an issue for us individually in Osceola?
Yeah, Orange County, some of it, Osceola County, and other. Yeah. And so that was a big one. Yeah. So if I live here now, I'm going to have to pay for bonds that Disney paid for or put together
to maintain their roads and all of that thing.
Yeah.
But nothing's happened.
Nothing's happened. And so there have been a lot of other studies on like how Disney's actually how they've been running their own little government, and having a corporation have their own government is kind of an interesting kind of deal.
It sounds bad on paper, but if you go to Disney, it looks great.
It does look great. But speaking of another Disney's counterpart, I guess we should say, is Universal had a really big story in February as well. Universal was raising their starting pay to $17 an hour, and so they're going to raise their $17 an hour in June of this year. It was a $2 increase. And
it's 15 before that, correct?
It's 15, yeah, exactly, before that. And so what's interesting is, like, at the same time, Disney was through this whole like labor negotiation with their union, and so they were trying to give an extra $1. So it would have been like $16 an hour, and they had 13,000 people vote no, and basically go to blows with them. And so we're like, hey, listen, everything from the line workers up to on up, they were looking for a raise, and they ended up getting it.
Wonderful. We love to see it.
We love to see it.
We love to see it.
And at the same time, people then immediately went to complain on the internet about pricing going up. And I'm like, well, if they're going to make more money, Disney's still going to make a profit.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, they're a company. They have to meet their bottom line. But I've been continuing to go, and I paid for the tiny tembleque. It was fine.
You were just fine. And Tom McMillan says, if you don't hit the like button, Santa's bringing you coal in your stocking.
That is so true.
That's actually true.
Yeah, we actually were going to talk about that later on.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you. You should make sure you hit the thumbs up. That means the world. But thank you guys for tuning into us with us as well.
February, that was anything exciting with you in February? I'm trying to think.
Going back into February, what was I doing in February?
What were you doing in February? I don't know. I mean, I definitely was. Valentine's Day was in February. Did you do anything fun and lovely and romantic?
I mean, I woke up next to like my wife, which is
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, we actually came back to Keller Williams in February.
We did come back to Keller Williams in February. That's a big deal.
It was for us. It was a big deal. So we were at another smaller brokerage, and we decided to come home to Keller Williams, which is a big deal. I got to get on stage with Gary for the first time. Oh my gosh, and so that was a lot of fun.
So cool. And the colors of Keller Williams are red and white. And that just makes sense for Valentine's Day. So.
Absolutely.
All right. What's next?
So here's another. So this is March. So let's go into some unemployment data, it's been interesting because how we started the year off with real estate was really hot. White hot in our area. There were still multiple offers, waived appraisals, and that kind of thing. And the government said, hey, we need to step in and start slowing down how much like inflation is taking over. Right. Big part of that is unemployment. And so in March of this year, it came out that unemployment rates dropped again in Florida to 2.6% in February of 2023. Now, this has actually come up. So speaking of like looking backwards, this is now about 3.2%, which is still pretty low.
Yeah.
It's like it's considered full employment. But when you look back in February of this year, like it was wild. As an employer, finding people to come work for you, there just wasn't a lot of resumes coming in.
That's interesting to think about, because that's the flip side of it, right? You think, oh, unemployment's low, that's good. But then it also creates an issue for when you're trying to hire and there's nobody available.
That's right.
And we were trying to hire.
We were.
So that was a challenge.
So it's interesting. So speaking of that, so we've been growing as a team and growing our operations staff. We've been growing on the agent side, our creatives, like we just, this whole company we've been growing. We're big, yes. And but what's been wild is now that unemployment has started to go up, a lot more resumes
flooding in. Yeah, I get DMs all the time from realtors who are like, can we join your team?
Can we join your team? Can we work on it? And so what's wild is that if you think about, so we've actually been able to hire some really very talented people that otherwise in March of this year, they were unavailable. They were employed somewhere else. And so I hate that they'd have to go through a change. And at the same time, we're so glad and grateful to kind of prepare for what's going on.
Change is good. Yes, our team is growing. We're so excited about what's happening in the future so much. And not just like real estate agents, right? Because sometimes you think that's all we do, right? Is just add realtors, but no, like editors and marketing and
we got people like we're gonna have like the best process for sellers to be able to use us, because we've got a full marketing staff on the video side. We've got copywriters, we've got ads people, we've got like this entire like agency that we've created,
taking over the internet. Yeah, that's so what we're doing.
So absolutely excited. So going back to the Disney thing, the controversial show says nothing's happened yet. Yeah, I mean, it's still ongoing. There's still lots of stuff coming out, and so we will see what happens there. So if you don't like this, all right, there we go. Tuesday said, hi, everybody. Did I miss anything? Well, you just missed like basically January through March, but that's okay.
It's okay.
For sure. Let's keep going.
Several months. It's okay.
All right. So, hey, Kristen, did you ever go to the Holy Land Experience? You grew up here.
I grew up here. This has been like a staple. So there's this funny little statistic that women, navigate by landmarks. So the Holy Land has always been my I-4 landmark for like, okay, we got to get off here if we want to go to the Millennium Mall. But I never actually physically went, but I had so many friends who worked for this company. So many people that I know that actually visited and said it was just like so unique and special.
Yeah.
And it was bananas to see it get demolished.
Yeah, we did a really cool reel, like where we did some drone work over this and just watching the whole thing come down. And then now the hospital, like Evan Health, is going up so stinking fast. It is insane how fast things move around here.
If you haven't seen that drone footage, it's so neat to see the building just like completely disintegrate. I mean, it's incredible to see. The land is so much bigger than you think it is.
It really is. Yeah. So I never got to go to the Holy Land experience, but like I thought it was just that little dome, but there was all these other buildings over there. That's like a huge piece of property. It was an
entire like theme park in that little area. And they had a parking lot too. So there was that. It was like so much space.
Yeah. What else happened? So April, a man admits to helping make, sell, and fake what do we say this is?
Basquiat.
Mm-hmm. Paintings seized from Orlando Museum of Art. And I feel like this is Orlando Museum of Art had a little bit of like a black eye this year, not only from this, because this was like international news, but one time auctioneer had admitted to federal authorities that he and another man forged paintings that they attributed to artist Jean-Michel
Basquiat.
We had
to look it up.
Yeah. And so obviously that didn't go well. They seized the paintings and then they had to cancel the whole show, but they were actually getting ready to expand over to the Lake Nona area. And that got canceled. And then I think they're going to be doing something in the new JW Marriott whenever that decides to move forward.
But you know what they say, like all publicity is good publicity. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, think people got fired over this for sure.
Yeah,
because I mean, if you're like an art person and you're like, I need to make sure I've got legit things here.
I don't know anything about that world, but I'm pretty sure if that's your job and you can't spot a fake, they must have been really legit. They had to have been, right?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being that good at art, like a fake?
I mean, that's something I'd put on my resume.
And
like, I was the guy.
I was the guy.
I did it. That was me.
Yep. So that'll be when you're in jail. You can tell people, I can do a little caricature of yours.
Yeah, I can paint really well.
I could do, yeah. El Rob says, what was Holy Land? So Holy Land was this experience where it literally was like Jerusalem here. And they did like shows of like the Bible and that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. They followed the Holy Family through the journey and the three kings, and they had music and they had dancers and I think they had livestock. There's actual livestock. Yeah. It was very unique. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Very unique. Unique is a good word to put. Trip says, what's up, guys? Y'all look great. Thank you, man. You look great. Thank you so much. All right. So we got, this is another one. All right. So this is May. We're into May of this year in terms of like what's going on. This is one that touched my heart because I'm a huge MLB fan, but we kind of void of that here. And so they talked about former sports exec unveiled renderings of proposed Orlando baseball stadium. And what they said that was going to be, what was the name?
Oh, I don't remember.
The Dreamers.
Oh, right. The Dreamers. That's why I don't remember. I blocked it out.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the renderings look amazing. And where they were going to put this or where they're still putting this, I mean, they're working through permitting issues and going through renderings and working with the county. And if they do that and they secure the funding, this will move forward, hopefully. But this is going to be kind of right over by where Westgate is. And you've got Destination Boulevard over by I-4 and 528, where all that kind of comes together. There's this land over there with just tons of trees. So there would be a stadium right on I-4.
The renderings are really beautiful. I love the architecture of like the roof line, what they've got, and then the banner that goes all the way across. The only thing, this is the Dreamers. It's like middle school to me, right? Like we're the Dreamers.
Yeah.
But hey, it'll catch on. We'll make it work. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think Major League Sports here. So this is the thing. Does John like sports at all?
Of course, John likes sports.
And so
he's the man.
Well, not everybody. He's a guy who's in there. So I think like it's funny because some people are like, well, they're not going to have a following. And you look at Tampa. Tampa already doesn't like the Tampa Bay Rays don't have a big following, even though they're an amazing baseball team.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think we have so many visitors here, and we have a really like upswell of people that love Orlando and live here. I
think there'll be a huge following. I think it'll be so fun. I think locals will come out in droves. It's just something else to do, right? We always talk about the greatest thing about Central Florida is that there's so much to do.
Yeah, right? There is absolutely. And so the more sports, I mean, like we've been more Orlando Magic fans. And so we've been going to more and more like games. We got a 12-pack of season tickets this year. I've been taking my son. It's been amazing.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's so much fun, and the city really, really gets into it. And so when I look at the Dreamers, like hopefully they don't use that name, but so all right. So what else happened in June? We are to June. So this is a funny, I think, an interesting one. There was
There were several.
There were several.
Yes.
I was gonna say, this isn't just this one time. This happened to be like a trend for 2023, which is wildlife officials bear spotted in Lake Eola seems to have left the area. So it actually ended up going in the tree, and then I think it got hit by a car.
Oh, we
sadly.
don't want to talk about it. R.I.P. bear.
Yeah. But there were so many bears. There was a bear in Magic Kingdom this year. There was a bear in College Park this year. There was a lake.
So many bears.
Crazy. I'm running. I also run, and I'm like, I'm going from the bears.
Do you have a bear spray with you?
I know. I seriously thought about how do I
Listen,
get like a bear spray or something.
Ken does not run correctly. I'm putting you on blast here because the man, he doesn't have any fuel with him.
No.
He doesn't take water with him. He doesn't do anything. And so we had this conversation one time because I over prepare. I've got fuel, I've got packs, I've got everything. And Ken was talking to me about how he doesn't do any of that. When you stop at Publix?
Okay, so here's what I do. All right, so I've got this whole route planned out, and I look on the map and how far away things are. And I'm like, okay, Starbucks is exactly 5 miles away. And then Publix is another 3 miles away. And so I'll get all the way to 20 miles, having just stopped at like Starbucks and Publix, getting like water and whatever I need.
So I tried this, and of course it failed miserably. And so I'm on my story like, Ken Pozak, like,
you suck. This does not work.
But anyway, bears. So you should have protection. You never know. I mean, they typically are more afraid of us than we are.
That's
of
what
them.
I say. I will scream.
I just scream at it.
And hopefully.
But what do you think? Where are they all coming from? Why do you think there were so many sightings this year as opposed to over the years?
I think development is what happens, right? You start pushing a lot of these guys out, and there's so many new neighborhoods. And like I mentioned, well, even like where the Orlando Dreamers are thinking about going, like that's a big wooded area with you know, deer and all types of stuff running in that area, and those little animals are going to get displaced for sure. So that being said, like we have an insane amount of natural resources here in terms of state parks, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
It's just that's what they're doing. They're going to relocate them. They'll be fine. Capstone says he wants to do this little dig on me. He says, he says, I'm sorry in advance for what's going to happen to your Michigan Wolverines.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the college. Go Blue.
Ken,
it's college football, and I'm from Michigan, and I'm a big Michigan Wolverine fan.
Oh, are you?
And they did really, really well this year. They beat Ohio State. They beat Michigan State. They beat all these teams.
So you think the Dreamers are going to crush the Wolverines?
different thing.
Clearly,
so John is a sports fan, obviously. Pickle says, "Go Blue." Yes, thank you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Don Juan says, "I kind of goes with the whole Orlando Disney magic type theming. The Dreamers. I didn't initially like it, but I think the name would grow on people. You know, I think so too.
Yeah.
Just like
it's Disney. It's Disney-like, isn't it?
It is. It's just like the same thing. So speaking of naming, so this past week we had the Orlando. So the old Amway Center is now called the Kia Center,
which we like. Okay, it's fine. It could be worse.
It could be worse, but it's like, and I get it goes to the highest bidder, and like I'm not like
should have been us. Should have been the Pozak Stadium.
Well, I was thinking, so they did a whole deal in 2009. Amway paid $40 million for a 13-year deal, so it's like $3 million a year to have her name on the side of a building.
That's a lot of money.
But it's like every single person in the area is like, oh, I drive by the Amway.
But is that going to make you buy a Kia? Are you going to leave the theater and buy a Kia?
Definitely not. But some people do.
Some people might.
Although it looks like a KN. Have you seen this?
The logo does look a little interesting. I've always thought the Kia, but this might be a funny thought. Like I'm going to go on a tangent here.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time as a kid, I thought the Disney logo was a G.
Me too. Oh, no, totally.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's
okay.
totally, that's
like a thing. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Look at this is the logo for those of you just watching live. It's like, it looks like a KN, like a backwards N.
It does look like a backwards N.
And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I know I had to like take the highest bidder, and I understand like all of that stuff, but like,
well, hey, you showed me the Planet Smoothie Stadium.
Yeah,
it could have been that.
It could have been. It could have been Planet Smoothie.
I would absolutely buy Planet Smoothie if I left the stadium. I was like, Planet Smoothie sounds good.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. So we're midsummer right now, and we're gonna go into this one. So Tech Hub. This is an interesting one. So Orlando ranks number 9 for fastest growing tech hubs nationally. Located in Orlando's thriving tech industry, UCF helps produce top talent, innovation developments that drive the sector. And so this is obviously a release by UCF. But going through and just basically seeing like how many people are in the tech field, or how many people are in the workforce, and then how many people are in the tech field, and then how many new jobs are being added. And to see Orlando rank even top 10 was to me exciting, because I've been railing on this idea of like,
absolutely, that we're not just theme parks, right? Like
correct.
Orlando's tech. That's so neat.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's really cool. And hopefully people lean into that. Obviously, the way that pricing of everything in Orlando is going up, like it is everywhere. But if they had higher paying jobs, hopefully people would be able to, stay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So here's speaking of another one. This is also in July. So this was from CNN. They said nobody was there. What's behind the summer slump at Disney World and Universal Orlando?
Talk about this summer slump that happened.
Did you guys go to the parks this summer? Did you go at all?
Yeah, I went to the parks plenty this summer.
And was it empty?
No, it was not empty.
Every time I went, it was way long ride, like lines for rides,
40 plus minutes at the minimum, right? To get on anything.
I couldn't find good places to eat. Like every time we would go to try to hit on the app, it was
reservations.
Like, no reservations.
Yeah, there were some. I think some of the parks hit capacity even.
That's right.
Yeah,
no, they totally did, and like capacity, which is funny because they didn't really say that like we're closing Magic Kingdom anymore, and then now they started doing that again. But anyways, so that CEO Bob Iger said that he attributed Disney World's recent decline and wait times overall slump because of Central Florida tourism. He said that, hey, listen, like COVID happened, everybody pushed in and went really, really hard.
Yes.
And so it like attendance was down compared to maybe 6 months ago or a year ago when everybody was going crazy. But overall, it was up. And so Universal, Disney, SeaWorld, they all saw overall growth.
That's the thing. I feel like a lot of these news articles or sources, they focus on the short timeline of, it versus last month. Sure, maybe it's down compared to what we were seeing when the gates reopened after COVID. Yeah. But year over year, we're seeing absolutely an increase in the amount of people that are in the parks. I mean, Jollywood Nights was crazy.
Yeah. People are willing to pay for those premium experiences for sure.
Yeah.
Capstone says roll tide. I don't know about you, man.
That's Alabama. I know that.
I
know that one.
Look at you.
I know that one.
Samuel asks, so this is an interesting one. So Samuel, you always ask questions, and I appreciate that. Last week, you were kind of like throwing out like, hey, why don't you ever talk about Pine Hills and what's coming there? Unfortunately, dude, there's not a ton coming. If you watch, I did a video all about Paramore, though, and there is a lot coming. And like they're talking about redevelopment left and right, and the city's getting on board, and there's a whole new strip up and down Church Street that's going to be, I think, very impressive. So it's not that I'm just talking about Winter Park and Winter Garden. There's not a lot going on in Pine Hills right now.
No, we talk about everything. I've had investors already reach out to me about that area. Have you?
Because of the video?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I was talking to Ryan Young, who's like the guy that the CEO around Interstruct, and like he's so smart and he's got like such a vision about tying in the whole sports center, the sports section over to the downtown area for entertainment. It's gonna be beautiful.
Super walkable. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great. Yeah. I mean, obviously the night and then downtown nightlife and downtown safety is a big part of that.
Super key. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What else is going on? So we're
still in the summer? Are we in August?
We're in August. Yeah, still summer. So how is hurricane season to you? Like you as a like somebody who grew up here, you've seen the worst of the worst.
It wasn't really that much to write home about.
Not this year.
Honest. Yeah.
So we had Hurricane
Idalia.
Yep. So it hit landfall. Everybody was nervous. Every new client of ours that reached out, they're like, what should I be doing?
I love it.
Honestly. The new ones?
Yes.
The new people that
I'm like, come here, babies. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you how to prep.
Here's a pet alligator.
Yeah. So Hurricane Idalia became a Cat 1 storm before it hit the western tip of Cuba. And so here's the thing, like this is my thing. Hopefully nobody uses it against me in the court of law 10 years from now. But like if it's not like a 5 when it hits Florida, I'm not super nervous. Or like a 4.
And I mean, I'll tell you what though, when I became a homeowner, the following year when hurricane season happened, my heart was just like,
oh, for sure. I'm like texting my tenants like, hey, how'd the house turn out? Like, can I send somebody to help? It's like any just water damage
in my house? Like, please don't. But then, you get over that and you're back into I'm a Floridian. So I agree with you 100%. Yeah. If it's not a 4 or 5, when it's here in Central Florida,
right?
Typically, we don't see too much. I mean, obviously, flooding becomes an issue depending on where you're living. And if you're near a lake or you're near a retention pond or an area that does typically get a lot more water, if there's rain for a long period of time, it's not even the winds that you're worried about at that point. It's just the amount of water that's accumulating and the drainage doesn't have enough time to catch up. But I agree. I don't freak out. But yeah, again, don't use this against us in the future. We don't freak out.
I mean, like, this is just our personal experience. Like, I don't freak out around hurricanes. I mean, like, it was 2006. No, I was trying to think the last time when we lived in Celebration. What was the big one? Was it Ida?
Ida was big. Ivan was big. Charlie was big. It was
huge.
Yeah, Charlie was big. But since then, I mean, it's just rain and wind. It's the spin-off tornadoes that can be a little bit terrifying, but I mean, those are so rare. But I always tell people, look, you have insurance and you have a nice house. Just be calm. It's going to be okay. We'll get through this together. If it's not, I think if it's a 3 or below, I'm like, we still going and showing houses? Like, are we still going out?
It's a little windy today, but I still think you can get into a house.
Disney raincoat.
Oh my gosh, so crazy. So it's interesting. So in August of this year, I went on the Star Cruiser for the last time.
Yeah, are you bragging?
Well, yes and no. I'm like
Yeah,
sad
oh, I
about
know,
it.
it's so sad.
I was talking to somebody today that works at Disney. I'm like, hey, you got any like insight of like what's going on with Star Cruiser? He's like, dude, I don't think we're doing anything with it right now. I'm like,
So it's just
don't tell me that.
Is it like for like tax reasons?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
Yeah,
think it's tax reasons. It wasn't making any money. I think that's thinking about the financials. It's so silly to me that they're like, hey, if we have 100% occupancy all the time, it'll make money. I'm like, you're hoping that demand
100%. That was the goal.
I mean, it had to be basically, yeah. So I was talking about Irma. You're absolutely right, my man. So Irma was especially that downtown. I remember showing the videos.
The canoers
in Lake Eola. That was crazy.
That was insane.
It was crazy.
That was pretty interesting. I'll give you that one.
But going back to Star Cruiser, like I mean, that was a sad thing for me to see, like close.
I know. John's devastated. He never got to go on it.
He and I just have to like live action role play during Halloween, so it's
LARP
not too weird. Yeah.
Like, please do.
Oh my gosh. So please tell Liz that I'm working on a job opportunity that will allow you to relocate part-time initially to Clermont. That's awesome. I definitely
Liz is lovely. Oh my goodness.
So cool. Let's see. Winston says, Ken went to the Dr. Phillips Center to see Winton Marshalls. Sorry, my screen here.
Winton Marshalls.
All right. The staff told me at Dr. Phillips Center that they're open a jazz club. Oh, dude, I think you might have told me this. If it wasn't on YouTube in the comments, I think you had told me this over on Instagram. And that's on, if it wasn't you, it was somebody else. That sounds cool.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think that what they're doing for the expansion of Dr. Phillips Center, by the way, is going to be awesome, both on the interior and what they're doing on the inside. We went and saw the Nutcracker a couple weeks ago, my daughter and I.
I'm so jealous. I wanted to see it. Was it amazing?
It was really good. I know you've been to the ballet before. That was my first time.
That was your first time?
Ever. It was great. It's like Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center.
The story is beautiful, isn't it?
It's
the
beautiful.
Music is incredible.
And like they're next level people, like in general, like ballerinas, the dudes, the gals.
It's insane to watch. I mean, like mind blowing. The physical fitness that these people have. I mean, I don't even know how they're doing that. They're not even sweating. They look so chill. Their face is so relaxed.
Right. So who's the guy, the toy maker and on the Nutcracker, like in the beginning?
I don't know his name.
Okay, well, no, me either. Toy maker, we'll call him. But he kept losing his mustache.
No.
And my daughter was kind of giggling the whole time. And like, I was like, does he realize? She's like, does he know that he's losing his mustache? And I'm like, I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he's very upset about it.
Yeah. He's just like on his tippy toes. And so he can't do much.
Absolutely incredible. I'm so jealous. I really 10 out of 10 recommend the Nutcracker. Even if you've never seen a ballet in your entire life, the show that they put on at the Orlando Ballet is insane. Yeah. I mean, it's just, that should be your first ballet. I think it's such a great introduction into that art form. And they do the music. Oh, I'm just dreaming about it. I wanted the costumes.
There's still time.
It's playful.
You can go this weekend.
Oh, I'm going.
All
absolutely.
Right. Fair enough. What else happened in August? You had Illumination Avenue over at Universal, Minion Land. Yeah. So I actually got to do the media preview this one and like the gun area and all the new little food spots. Have you been to this one yet?
No, you always go and you don't take me.
No, it's not
always
true. So I think it's cool. My kids love Minions. And so we've taken them and they thought it was very, very cool. But I think this whole strip right here is awesome what they're doing over there.
Yeah. I've honestly have never understood the Minion hype until we actually saw one of the movies, Despicable Me, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so funny.
They're hilarious.
I get it now. I understand. So it's like Trolls. It's like,
So what's wild is Universal opened Minions Land faster than Disney created some bench area in World Showcase.
I'm not going to talk about it.
It's beautiful though, what they opened over there.
It is beautiful, but it doesn't feel large enough for the amount of space that is there. I mean, when I went, of course, the crowds are super high right now because everybody's excited about it because it's brand new. Yep. But it's like I couldn't even see anything because it's just body to body. But when it calms down, it's really going to be a lovely place to like eat or hang out with the kids and they can play with the water and just interact. I think that's a really neat thing. I'm always for Disney putting the little environmental things, talking about how to save water and the planet. So I'm about that. I love it. So cute.
So speaking of that whole area, have you been there? So did you go at night or did you go during the day?
I went during the day, but I've heard the nighttime is key.
It's silly to say like how like magical, but like I guess it's not. It's Disney. It's magical. It's that's just it's dreamy. But like you go over to Journey of Water with Moana, and then you go to World Celebration with Walt, and then you go over to like Guardians, and that whole area at night is just. It's magical. Like the music is getting piped in.
And they put all the like lighting in the ground, like concrete, right? Yeah. So it's just incredible.
And what's crazy, I was thinking about this the other day. Let me know what you think about this. So I think that they should make Epcot, like an adult park after 9 o'clock.
I have been begging. Okay, so there's a fun thing. I don't know if you've noticed at the end of the shows in Epcot, they turn on this music that's like Disney hip hop. At the end of the night when the parks close. And I say this every time I leave. If they had a hip hop club or some kind of like dance club for adults at night that played like Disney music with like the bass turned up,
sure,
I would lose my mind. Like, can you imagine? Yeah, when you wish upon a star, you know, like I just think it would be so fun.
It's so good. And like you've got World Showcase there. There's adults drinking around the world anyways. And so
let us get our drink on,
yeah,
Disney.
Jeez.
Do you remember Pleasure Island?
I mean, I remember seeing it online.
Oh, you never went?
I never went. I wasn't old enough at the time, and then it closed down.
It was all right. Yeah, it was all right.
But I think like Epcot though, after dark, I think it's just there's a missed opportunity because in the summertime it doesn't get dark till 8:30, and then they do the show, and then they kick everybody out. I'm like, this is like easily 2 more hours of being able to take more revenue for Disney.
Oh,
and that's what
make
they like.
So much money. Selling alcohol is the best way to make money for Disney, right? So
like $42 for that one drink. Yes, please.
Well, it comes in a cup that has the Disney logo on it.
So
I'm buying it.
Sold. So, all right, what else was going on here in, let's see, we're into September right now. What do we have going on in September?
September. Was this when the Brightline launched their high speed? This was finally because it was supposed to be in August.
Yep, during Adelia.
Yes, and then they pushed it. So this is when it was finally connected. And John, did John tell you about him taking it?
He was telling me last night about it, but go ahead. Tell the good people about your John taking on.
He took the train to Miami, and he loved it. He said that, so it's not the most comfortable because the seats are pretty much the same. There's just more space between them. He said the Wi-Fi is great, except for not for Zoom. I'm getting really specific for everybody.
Well, if you're working, I mean, that was my whole thing was like, I could go take the Brightline, work for 3 hours instead of drive.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so if you're just doing like emails and calls like that, it works perfectly. But if you're trying to do like actual video conferencing, it was very glitchy and he had a hard time getting the connection to be steady. But he said it was absolutely great because you can work the entire time that you're on it. And, you save so much time. You're not driving. And driving is dangerous, honestly, with all
because most of us are still driving and talking on the phone the whole time.
And doing it. So this is such a safe way to do it. And I mean, it's so quick. And we talked that the latest train is what, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, from Miami back here. So you can, I told you this. I was like, I would want to go to like a show or maybe to dinner in Miami, but you don't want to have like a 5 o'clock dinner and then jump on a train and come home.
Right.
So the fact that you could have like maybe a 7 o'clock dinner or maybe a 6 o'clock dinner, go see a show and still make the train. And then it's like a red eye basically back up to Orlando.
Absolutely. Take a nap, sleep.
Yeah, exactly. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're home and then you're pop over there. So we got a bunch of other things. Let's see. JJ says, my old lady is going to February to watch Board Teacher Comedy Tour. Oh, she's a teacher. Oh, that's so cool. I've not heard. I got to look like that on Instagram. That sounds hilarious.
Does she like you calling her an old lady?
Old lady. It's old. Like,
old lady.
It means like, that's my old lady. Like it's my girl. Heck no.
Okay.
JJ, don't get me in trouble. So Perry says, hey, good evening, you two. What's the build time for Dreamfinders or Landsea right now? So dude, it depends on the neighborhood for sure. Different areas. I mean, it could be as quick as 6 to 7 months. And then like I've got a Dreamfinders deal we're closing right now. It's taken 26 months.
Dreamfinders is a little more customizable, I would say. And so their build times are generally longer.
Yeah.
So they've been quoting, I think, like 9 months right now, but you've got a realistic picture that it's actually longer than that.
We had over at Summerdale Park, we had somebody take 18 months. But here's the thing I would tell you, Perry, is that if you go into a neighborhood and they have inventory, meaning they have lots that you can build on, or they've already started some houses. That's what you want to start with, because some of these neighborhoods like Windermere, they've got the Palms at Windermere, and it's like there's the main road, but there's no infrastructure there, and they're selling there already. And it's like, okay, great. That could be, in my mind, 15, 16, 17 months.
Absolutely.
So that's something to think about. Sign Guy says, I can't wait for the Brightline to go to connect to Tampa. Yeah, that's going to be, once that whole loop gets done, it's lights out.
Stadium. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Stadium.
He said, not literally. Ken has some lingo. See, I know what's up. I'm cool. I'm getting older, but I'm still down. Robbie says, hey, have you noticed that HOA fees have been going up along with homeowners insurance premiums? Would higher cost of insurance for an older house entice buyers to go with new construction? Yeah, of course. All day. Yeah. So if you got like an older roof, an older house, and somebody's going to charge you $3,000-$4,000 for insurance, or they can go pop open and grab a brand new house. It's huge.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both.
There's
obviously.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, with new construction, it's new. So you do get the best insurance rates and that peace of mind. But I get a lot of clients who really want something that's a little bit more, they always say charm, right? They want that older charm of something that's got, like, I live in a 100-year-old house.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's nothing like it.
And there's not a lot of new, I mean, there's some tear downs around you, but there's not like brand new construction that way.
And, you know, I pay so much in insurance, but you know, it's what you're looking for. So all day, new construction, lower insurance for sure.
Yeah. And there's just the trade-offs. And so Ravi, this is another interesting one. There's, did you hear what's going on in Baldwin Park, by the way?
Yes. For their townhomes, their HOA fees more than doubled, or was it tripled? They went from like 5 something to 1,200 or 14. I'm making up
in
numbers.
Just certain areas, not the entire neighborhood.
Not the entire neighborhood, but it was because of insurance, because they did not have reserves to cover the increase in the insurance costs, since the insurers of our state are raising rates astronomically. This was insane. We had so many people call us, didn't we?
We did, yeah. To say like, maybe I should sell, or I would love to live in Baldwin Park, but I don't know if I want to spend that money. So yeah, here's what Orlando's neighborhood homeowners association fees could balloon to 300% per year. That's all around, typically around insurance, and sometimes it's, you know, a poorly managed HOA. And I heard that these people have actually sued their HOA to stop this, because it was going to go from like $400 a month to $1,000 a month just for these townhomes right here. It wasn't all of it. It wasn't the entire neighborhood, but it was a good little portion of it. And people were freaking out.
But don't let that scare you about HOAs, because this is a very specific situation, and it's typically, you know, condos or townhomes where the HOA covers the insurance costs. And so if they're not managing it well, they're not developing those reserves, they're not shopping around, they're not taking care of the properties, this can happen. This isn't going to happen on a single family, you know, home where you're covering your own insurance. I mean, it could still go up, but you know, your HOA fees aren't going to go up with it. Yeah.
And that's why it's important. Like when you're buying a place, looking at the financials of your HOA, that's something that we talk about all the time.
It's not just like the monthly amount. It's how much do they have?
Yeah. How much they have in reserves, who manages it? Is it professionally managed? Is it like just, you know, Jimmy and Bob, or like, you know, grab a case of beer and they work out the financials? Probably not.
And what does it cover, right? Or
like,
you know, is there an elevator that needs to be redone? Does the pool need to be pulled out? Because there's issues, like there's big questions you should be asking when you're going with these HOA communities.
JJ says he grew up in Conway. That's what you call your girl.
That's what you call your girl in Conway? Old lady?
So now I'm from Detroit, and my dad would be like, hey, you're old lady. And so that's how I know. So maybe,
good to know.
Maybe my dad's actually cooler than
I love that.
She said,
that's great.
Cool. All right, so let's get to October. This is the
biggest month of the year
for you.
For me.
Yeah. So Kristen, were you featured somewhere?
I was featured in the Orlando Sentinel, my house, my Halloween monster house that I decorate every year. And I've been upping my game every single year. This is 6 years of super hard work and storage units, because there's nowhere to put this stuff after
in
Halloween.
a 100-year house.
Finally, I caught them outside my house taking pictures, and I was just like, I made it.
People go all out here. I love Halloween in Orlando. People go all out in their houses. The theme parks are just insane. Halloween Horror Nights is just
There's a lot of
amazing. There's a lot of
spirited people here.
There really are. So 13 of Orlando's best dressed Halloween homes, and you were ranked.
I was ranked. That was me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very, very cool.
So much.
Speaking of the Brightline, Vicken asks, so what do I think the Brightline goes national? Which state do I think it go to? Well, dude, they're actually already going national. They're talking about between LA and Vegas first, and then that's a really big deal. It's like Elon's trying to go, tunnel underneath. These guys are just going on top. But yeah, I think that for us,
what do you think would be more profitable, Vegas or LA?
Vegas to LA, that strip, or us?
Yeah.
I think Vegas to LA would be more profitable, because people are going to be like, I don't want to sit in traffic they could probably save people a ton of time in traffic.
So true.
Because really, people complain about
I-4 all the time.
All the time.
Here, but go to LA, come back, and you're gonna be like, I-4 is great.
That's not really that bad. But really, if you think about the trip from like Cape Canaveral down to at least northern Miami, or like Hollywood and West Palm, like that's really a very easy drive.
Yeah, it's just that little stretch right past Disney. It's a nightmare. Every time. Every time.
All right. What else is going on in October? Well, actually, in October we had the opening of the Moana Inspired Journey.
We did.
Trail.
Oh, look, and they're featuring it at night. The videos are a bit at night because it's really beautiful.
It's so cool at night.
Yeah. I always appreciate Disney for the beauty that they're able. Their Imagineers and their designers are they're just artists. I think it feels like there's a lot of care that goes into it, because it's, on the one hand, you're kind of like, why? But then if you actually look at it, it's art. It's beautiful.
It is, yeah. I mean, the Imagineers, they take the time to make these things incredible. And I think it's interesting with the whole advent of influencers and that sort of thing.
It's so Instagrammable.
Well, it's Instagrammable. I feel like people the way that, okay, so I feel like, let me know what you think. 8 or 9 years ago, you put something on Instagram, everybody was like, oh, look how beautiful it is. And it was like, that was your goal to make it look amazing. Now it's, how can I put something online and then trash it as fast as possible? And so people were showing up.
Comments.
Yeah, the hate comments are just out of control. And so like, I read every comment on our YouTube channel, but I try to like, just brush off.
We send them to each other. And we're like, did you see this one?
This person? How dare you? No,
How dare they?
Expecto Bourbon.
Oh,
Expecto.
Fun
That
name.
sounds awesome.
Expecto Bourbon.
It says, here I am trying to get on the list for top 3 Christmas neighborhood decorations.
Life goals.
It's
a lot harder. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I went the Halloween route mostly because I love Halloween, but also because it wasn't as much of a challenge. Christmas here in Florida, Celebration, Baldwin Park, Winter Park. It's insanity. There's no way you can beat the people that are already on top. Start now because it's going to take you a couple of years to get to even get on the map.
I love it. We decorate inside. We don't decorate outside at all.
Yeah, we didn't this year for Christmas either.
No,
but there's my trees inside and all the lights are inside.
5 Christmas trees.
That's a lot of Christmas trees.
Holly loves
small
Christmas trees.
No,
like every bedroom has one.
A full-sized Christmas tree.
Well, the kids, it's like they're like 6-foot trees. And then in our living room, we've got one that touches the ceiling.
Can we get a Christmas tree tour?
Yeah.
Like at Disney Springs? Do we get like a
little
stroll?
packet? You get a drink, you get a cookie and a drink at each
stickers
one.
For each one that we go to?
Yes.
That's great.
Holly loves it. But and then you go outside and you're like, oh, these people must be Scrooges because there's nothing on the outside.
Well, I think people think I'm a Scrooge because my house looks like it does for Halloween and then for Christmas there's nothing outside.
How dare you?
I promise. I celebrate Christmas there.
All right, so let's pop over to end of October. So Florida usurps New York to become second most valuable real estate in market. I talked about this a little bit more because this article was updated a couple of weeks ago, but basically between Tampa, Miami, and Jacksonville, they're the fastest growing cities in the United States. And then if you start looking at the overall costs of our areas of pricing, Orlando for the past decade has gone up over 70%. In some areas it's doubled. But yeah, Florida usurps New York as the second most valuable real estate.
It kind of feels like it was like a sneak attack, doesn't it? I mean, I guess we already knew that because we had the infrastructure with Disney and the theme parks that we had something special.
Yep.
But until this started happening, it's like nobody knew we were there. And then we're just like, haha, New York.
Here we are.
Orlando, Florida man rises to the top.
That's true. That's true. I feel like it's interesting because we talk about affordability is a really big issue here, right? People, it went from, I remember when I first moved here, the average sales price in Orlando was $235.
I bought my first home for $237.
There you go. Right on.
Yeah.
On the nose.
Crazy.
And now it's like $435 on average, but the average single family house is over $500,000.
I was going to say, like, good luck finding, $430s.
Yeah. I mean, that's because like the condos and stuff kind of offset some of it.
They do. Yeah. So if you were to take that out of the statistics, you said 500 is the average for single family home.
What is it?
Single family homes, $500,000.
Yeah, easily.
Wow. That's, I do hear a lot of locals are the ones who are the most vocal about it. And I get it at being a local and seeing these prices grow.
Yep.
I get the value. I get why it's happening. I see it, the amount of people that are coming here. But if you're not working in real estate and you're not dealing with people from all these other states who are coming here, it can be crazy to see these home values just around you skyrocketing. So that's the thing. So this is actually going into we have this like little report that we look at every week. So the average, what is it right now? The average final list price, the average sales price now for single family house. There it is.
$511.
I believe that full heart. When I get people come in, they're saying, I want a 3-2. I want it to be close to Disney. I'm like, starting in the 5s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No,
starting
easily.
in the 5s.
Condos, townhomes, and villas. The average condo, townhome, and villa average price is $326.
Think about that $200,000 difference to have the single family versus the condo or townhome product. I mean, you can afford what you can afford, but if you're able to swing it, the single family home is the way to go.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, because you think about HOA fees, the insurance that we just talked about. I mean, some people want the lock and go life, and we sell a lot of that here, where people are just like, I want to use my place 3-4 months out of the year, get back to New York, get back to DC, get back to wherever.
Landscaping or exterior maintenance issues. Yeah, that absolutely.
Yeah,
it's very common.
Interesting. So, comment here is, did Zillow actually list all the homes that are available, or do you think they'll miss some? Oh, that's a good question. So, they missed. Yeah, they probably get 99.9% of all the homes for sale that they pull from the MLS. The problem with them is that when they put them on there, they don't take them down a lot of times fast enough. Mm-hmm. So many of our buyers will say like, hey, what do you think of this one? And we're like, oh, that one already sold.
Yeah, that's what I say. They're third third party.
Yeah.
So a lot of times their information can be days late.
Yeah. And so right now that's the biggest thing about real estate is that, reacting to something good, because even though so this is interesting, like going on the days on market, people look at the average days on market for all of real estate right now. Let's see, we got right here. It is 46 days on market. I'll put this up here for you guys to see. So on average, it's taking something 46 days to go to contract. But the good stuff is still selling in a couple days, sometimes with multiple offers again. And it's the stuff that
I just had that
overpriced you had multiple offers again?
I just had that happen in Winter Park. It was a quarter of an acre, which is like huge in Winter Park.
Huge, yeah.
And it had a pool in the back, and the home was, not even like that renovated. It had a new-ish roof, and that's it. Like the electrical panel was Federal Pacific, which is not insurable for those of you who don't know. And multiple offers over list price in one day. I was like, oh, it's happening again. Strap in.
It's happening again. Lanique, and let me know if I'm saying your name right, because that's a dope name if that's the case. But Lanique, yeah, so that's the thing. That's the reason why. So Zillow is a great place to do research. I think you go online, you get to know rough areas, you get to know rough pricing, and then we can help you dial it in and make sure that you're on top of it when the time comes.
I always say if you're comfortable using Zillow, continue to use it, but supplement it with actual information from us or the MLS, because that way it's timely, especially if it's in hot markets.
Right.
Oh, and new construction's not always.
No, that's dang, that's a really good point. Yeah, new construction. A lot of times the builders will list their spec houses that are like possibly getting, if they're 30 days out from getting finished, they'll put them on the MLS, and then that syndicates to Zillow. But like we know about typical lists and lists and lists of homes from different builders. Like we had DR Horton came to our office this past week, and they said, hey, like we want to let you know about these 5 neighborhoods, and here's the 42 houses that we have coming up that'll be done in the next 90 days. None of those are on the MLS.
Not like 2 of them are on the MLS. So if you're looking new construction, I wouldn't use Zillow at all. They're not helpful.
Kevin says this. So sometimes I feel like you don't like the Williamsburg area. That area to me is such a quiet, untouched gem. Epic Universe is like 3-minute bike ride. So it's so funny, Kevin. I don't know if you follow us over on Instagram, the Orlando Reel, or me personally, but I actually literally just talked about Williamsburg today. Because if you look on a map, some people, this actually the clip that they grabbed was from one of our last live shows. People were saying, if I want to live equidistant between Universal and Disney, it's Williamsburg. Yeah. There's just not a lot there.
Right. I'm trying to even picture. I have no talking points for you because there's not a lot here.
It's like literally like some condos and townhouses. There's like 1 or 2 neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And then a lot of apartments, like a ton of
That's
apartments.
what it is. It's mostly apartment buildings.
Yeah. And that's why we don't talk about it a ton. Like we sell real estate. And we do help people with some rentals on time to time, but more like renting a house. The apartments, we just aren't allowed to operate in that world. Like the on-site property managers don't like working with real estate agents.
They take over.
Yeah. So I talk about them all the time because I think it's a thing to talk about on like how many are coming, and there's a lot of rentals and where you can live. But I think Williamsburg is great. It's just
not too much there to say things about.
Exactly. So going back to I just want to make sure I didn't miss a comment from somebody I was looking for. All right. So going back to affordable housing, though, I think this is an interesting one that actually came out in November of this year. So Universal breaks ground on new affordable housing project in Orlando. And the amazing thing about this, so I think there's going to be, there's 1,000 new living spaces. 75% will be affordable, kept as affordable.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because many people said, okay, well, if Universal's doing it, that means then you have to work for Universal? No, you don't.
No, they're just having that space available. This is a lot about Universal, right?
No, I think it's great.
I love it.
I mean, they got a lot of the land they already own, so they got to write that off, and then they worked with a bunch of people. I mean, they're going to make money. They're not going to do this because out of the
good of their heart. No, but it's definitely beneficial both to them and to people who need affordable housing. And really, it's an ideal location because the problem with affordable housing is it always gets shut down by homeowners in neighborhoods when the projects are proposed, because nobody wants affordable housing nearby them. They're afraid it's going to affect their home values. Yeah. So this is great because by the theme parks, who cares what the home values are, right? So put them up, put as much as we can. Plus then, everybody who's in that area will have access to all of these things, which is lovely. Yep,
absolutely. So Orange County Leaders actually allocated $7 million of funds for local affordable housing from the trust fund that we had going on. And so it's a $350 million project though. And like they're saying that the overall rents are going to be somewhere, they actually announced it not too long after this article, is like starting in the $400 a month range up to like $1,200 a month.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have, so 1,000 units is going to go like that crazy.
Yeah, it's so so
but it's
fast.
all workforce housing, and it is right next to Epic Universe. So it's going to be kind of in that Williamsburg-ish area.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. We had somebody ask a question about Perry said, hey, so where's the best place to find new construction homes? So reach out to us. So we can at least give you an area. So if you say, hey, I'm looking in Clermont, we can say, hey, here's the 6 or 7 neighborhoods. If you're looking in Winter Garden, there's the 20 different neighborhoods and help you dial it in. There's a website called like New Home Source. It's pretty good. They keep stuff updated there, but even that gets to be outdated. That will give you kind of like names of different
names
neighborhoods,
of communities, at least talking points. So you can say, hey, I'm interested in Everby because I saw that it's over in Orlando. You know, can you tell me more about it? And absolutely, we'll be able to do that. There's so much opportunity in new construction right now. I was just in Ovation. Love it.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Oh, like when Ovation at what, like in Horizon West?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that whole area.
So cool.
Insane. JJ says Williamsburg is too close to Orlando West, all the outlets, and then you got the Hunters Creek and 528 and I-4 is very so JJ will always plug Hunters Creek. He is, again, I hope you
you actually live there.
No,
right?
he totally
like,
does.
Do you actually live? Okay.
No, he totally does. So Don Juan says, hey, do I have a preference between Ashton Woods and Dream Finders? Listen, I mean, from a quality standpoint, they're pretty much on par. I think that, you know, I like, go ahead.
They have such unique like tastes, like their models are so different. It's really hard to compare them. It's almost like apples to oranges because I don't know, like the Duval over at Ashton Woods
is my favorite. That's why it's the one that we live in.
You live in the Duval?
I live in a Duval. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's one of my favorite houses. And then Dream Finders, I mean, it's so customizable. You can do so many different things in that home with the spaces. I mean, structural and like options, like kitchen options and flooring. So, you know, it's depending on what you're looking for, really. They're both pretty comparable in terms of like quality, though.
They really are. I think, you know, Dream Finders is going very, very hard on land acquisition. And so you're going to have a lot more options to choose from with them.
They're Innovation too, right?
Dream Finders?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ashton Woods, North Lake, Innovation is, and Dream Finders is going to be right next door. I thought I saw some signs out there.
I mean, they've got 4 neighborhoods up and down Avalon over in Horizon West.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, they've got a ton going on. So whereas Ashton Woods has the one neighborhood. And so if there's anything that matters to you in regards to just being able to have choices for neighborhoods, and Dream Finders wins out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. I
yeah,
never thought about like that.
What's going on in December of this year that we actually didn't grab a story, but I mean, we're still in the middle of December. What are you excited about?
I am excited about being able to turn off my phone. For a couple days to spend time with family.
There is, I always say, I feel like Christmas time is, you know, pretty slow with real estate because people, they know you're with your family, they're with their families or whatever. But they're all, we also see a ton of people online, like on our website, because people are like, we should move next year.
We should move.
They're you know, they got a couple drinks in, they've got their ham or whatever they've ate for Christmas. And they're like, we need a new house. Or maybe they're like arguing and they're like, you're moving out. I'm getting a new house.
This house is not big enough for us.
And so, yeah, it's kind of wild. So it's interesting. We started going through some different stats of like our year in review for our team.
Is so exciting. Okay.
All right. And so get this. So just in 2023, between Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube here, you good people, we gained 80,000 new followers.
What?
Yeah. Between it. So we got our little counters behind us. They go off. They've been going off all night.
Are you following? Are you hitting that like button?
Thank you. So yeah, between TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Instagram was huge. We had huge growth there this year. We had 550 unique pieces of content that we put out in 2023, which is wild. We had hundreds of thousands of hours of watch time across all platforms.
Love it.
17,000 of you subscribed to our bi-weekly or our twice weekly newsletter. 17,000 more people.
17,000 people find value in our newsletter.
Yep.
That feels good.
We had over 1 million unique opens for emails this year alone.
We're watching you.
We helped 400. Sorry, this is my big one. This is my bigger one.
Wait.
We helped 489 people find home in Orlando or families. Isn't that wild?
Amazing.
Almost 500 people we helped.
It's like our family grows.
Exactly.
You know? 500 people.
Just some stats that we kind of were throwing around. So thank you guys so much. You've made this year an incredible year for Kristen and I, our entire team, and we're just continuing to want to pour back into the community. So whether you watch this here because over on Instagram or here on YouTube because you want to get to know areas or new restaurants or what's coming with Disney or Universal, whatever reason, thank you guys so much because it means we couldn't do it without you.
No, we only exist because of you.
Exactly.
We're like fairies.
No, exactly. You're going to be that one. I'll let you. Ruben says, hey, can Horizon West get a gym, please, bro? I tell you what, like you have to, for us, it's either go up to CrossFit in like Winter Garden proper or go over to like LA Fitness in Windermere.
Yeah.
That would be a great one. You should, Ruben, here's what you should do in 2024. It should be your New Year's resolution, not just go to a gym, but you should open a gym.
The Torres Gym for Muscles.
That's right. For Torres Gym for wimpy people who want to get strong. I will be your first investor.
I'll come. I'll go to the gym.
But yeah, it's kind of weird to think that like Horizon West and that sort of area doesn't have.
Well,
a gym.
I was talking about this today on Instagram. I don't know if you heard me ranting because I'm an East Side girl.
Yeah.
I love the East.
Yep.
That's where I live. But every time I'm in Horizon West and Winter Garden, I'm just like, wow, we're so close to Disney. But there are some things lacking, to be fair. Like open up your Uber Eats app while you're in Mills 50 and then open up your Uber Eats app over in Ovation and you're going to see it's not quite the same. So once we start getting all of that development, more than just like a Publix and a Target, which is great. But when we start getting gyms and yoga studios and bookstores, oh my gosh, I would love it. Which I really, truly believe is going to happen.
No, I mean, so the library's coming. I mean, you got so many other things coming over to the Horizon West area that just haven't come. So even this year, like I know our friend Anna, I think she does like, it's not Soul Cycle. What's the cycling thing that people do? Not Peloton. It's like the biking thing.
I don't know.
That's like a big brand.
Peloton is what's coming to mind.
No, but it's like you go to the location and they like crush you over there.
Oh, I don't know. Not CrossFit, obviously.
So there's like Pilates stuff. There's like biking. There's like all these like really, but there's no great like gym. There's no like LA Fitness.
Oh, just like actual gym, like free weights and classes and things like that.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, we need that. That sounds good. There's a void for that.
There is. Yeah, absolutely. So, so somebody asks, what do they say? Juliet here so asks, hey, do anything about the Waterley Village expansion around the promenade? And so this actually came out maybe 5 or 6 days ago. So this is kind of the whole area right here. So there's a ton of different, maybe one of these would be a gym. This one, 1.67 acres seems like it would be an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, there's plenty of space there. You can put a track, an Olympic pool. Like, let's do it.
So this is actually over by Waterley Village, and I think this is going to be this is great. So you think about more and more retail up and over. That's not Hamlin, because Hamlin is obviously a huge draw. There's a Sephora opening up there. My wife is so excited about it.
About the Sephora.
She's like, I don't have to go to the Disney Springs anymore. So yeah, there's a lot of different retail and that sort of thing opening up. And so I think that Avalon area, if you guys have not driven Avalon in a long time, it's finally four.
It's not just trees anymore.
No, it's so insane. And they've got 4-lane highway up and down Avalon now. And so some of these different, like Hickory Nut Village is what this one is going to be.
So cute. I love the names. I love when they come out with the names. Hickory Nut Village.
I was talking to a builder this week, and she's like, I get to name a whole neighborhood and like get to name all the different streets. Yeah. But have you ever driven through a neighborhood and it's like, Timmy the Elf Avenue, and you're like, who the heck names these?
This?
It's the builder reps. They get to kind of like hang out over there.
Make stuff up. That's fabulous. I would love to get that job. So if you could hire me for naming the streets, I'm about it.
All right. So by the way, this is the point in the show. We're going to keep going here for a little while. So thanks hanging out with us.
We're vamping.
Yeah. We're just going to ramp up. Yeah. We're going to keep going and keep chatting a little bit about the place that we love. Make sure you drop your comments down below, your questions.
This is the most fun. Honestly, interacting with you guys is so fun. So please keep dropping the comments. It's like the highlight.
Here we go. So Orange Theory. There's an Orange Theory in Horizon West. I'm trying to think where that's at. At 45 Fitness are all studios that come to mind for sure.
I'm a Pure Bar girl. I like the Pure Bar studio.
Holly goes to Pure Bar. She loves it.
Those are fun.
Also in Horizon West. Lunique says, how many people are on our team? So we have 37 people now, including our writing staff, our creatives. We've got 24 realtors that work on our team.
24?
24. It's wild.
That's wild.
Wild. We Are Wade says, hey, I heard a rumor coming to Lake. There's a Lake Nona with arts and entertainment inside. Oh, a mall.
A mall in Lake Nona.
Not really a mall per se. It's like 400,000 square feet. They're calling it Lake Nona West. And so there will be a Target. And so people are going to be stoked about that.
People love when Target opens. Yeah. Have you ever seen when a new Target opens?
Never.
It's crazy. All of the women. They're all outside ready to go inside the Target. Because sometimes they give away like merch, like Target branded merch for coming to the opening.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You haven't never seen this?
I don't know that I've ever heard of.
Like a grand opening of a Target is like a big thing.
Oh, this is interesting. So yeah, so this is over. So right now, if you know anything about Lake Nona, you've got kind of like the UCF Lake Nona Hospital. You've got the original town center, and then all the way down Lake Nona Boulevard. This is almost where it kind of isn't Lake Nona anymore. And so they're doing this for a lot of different reasons. One, because you're going to have this Osceola Parkway extension that's going to sort of split Lake Nona Boulevard. And then you've got all of this area over here. So there's a lot of new retail and office and a Target coming over in that area. So I think it's going to be a good thing.
Absolutely. Target is always welcome.
Yeah. You want to take a girl with the curly fro? What'd she say?
Girl with the curly fro. Williamsburg will be the next college park in the next 5 years. Interesting, because you have Epic Universe, Disney, and Universal all minutes away. College Park piggybacks off of Winter Park's name. No shade. I don't know. I felt a little shade, but okay. No shade. I love the idea of another college park area. I think College Park's just really charming and unique. And it did kind of like pop up out of nowhere, you know? Yeah. So that's possible. I think we could see more college parks pop up.
It's the little, it's little mom and pop shops over there. There are some little stuff, but I mean, like Jeff's Bagel Run's got something over there. Bruno Bagel was over there. I'm not sure what bagels are on my mind, but I'm like really hungry.
I love Infusion Tea is over there.
Yeah,
I love Infusion Tea.
Graffiti Junction closed down. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer. I remember that. That was sad. What month was that?
Maureen said, there we go. Maureen, there you go. Cycle Bar. Right over by Home State. Also, Home State's Cuban restaurant or Cuban sandwich is phenomenal. I love, we do a brew, like a fall fest, brew fest over at Home State every year. This year it was so hot.
Oh my gosh, I remember.
It was so insanely hot, but the food was so good, and it's a great time with our clients.
The outdoor space is beautiful. So when it's a little bit better weather, I mean, it's perfect. It
really,
just is a little steamy. We did have the highest record-setting temperatures this year.
We did. It was a hot year in Orlando.
Oh, the summer was. I definitely was. I always tell my clients, I'm like, summer's so quick. You won't notice it. It's not that hot. And then it happened. I was like, oh, I've been lying to these people.
Oh my gosh. You start texting them and sending them
listen,
paying for their air
conditioning. So sorry.
I'm so sorry. So Lisa says, oh my God, Soft Fur Lane, the name of the alley straight behind the new build we started.
No.
Yes. So there's here's what happened, Kristen. I'm sure somebody had a little bit too many glasses of wine and their cat came across their lap and they're like typing in their little computer, Soft Fur Lane. That's what we're going to name this. Straight to jail. You should petition Lisa to see if somebody will be willing to change
I would abbreviate it every time I wrote my address. I'd be like SFL.
SFL.
Soft Fur Lane. I live on Soft Fur Lane.
Nope. Come again. What did you just say? Perry says, your thoughts, North versus South Clermont. I'm a North Clermont guy.
Why?
Because it's closer to downtown Clermont. You've got the new Lumberyard district coming in, which is going to be absolutely ridiculously good. I just like the downtown Clermont area. And I think that if you're North Clermont, you're closer up to like toll roads up there. It's just easier to get up and around. Whereas South Clermont, when you're down there, it's tougher. Although South Clermont, then you also have like Olympus Project and all that stuff coming in.
Amazing. Yeah.
But in terms of today, I think, North Clermont, and then over the next 5 years, that whole area is just going to become one big deal anyways.
I mean, I feel equally about both. I don't really have a preference.
No?
I just love Clermont for what it is. It's just really pretty. It feels different. Like you feel like you're out of Florida a little bit when you get there, especially when you start creeping over into like Mineola and Mount Dora. It's just like a really cute little bubble. I love that area.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of downtown or Clermont or North, downtown Clermont. So the Lumberyard district, I think I talked a little bit about this last week. I had no voice last week, so I think I ran out. So in case you weren't here, this is what's coming to downtown. They're going to actually expand downtown. So right now, if you know where,
this is where is this?
So this is Victory Point right here. So if you're coming downtown, downtown's kind of like over to the west if you're looking at the screen right here. And then you got Victory Point, which is this place that you can run around the lake and it's beautiful. You can get your kayak and that sort of thing. But all these little white box buildings right here, this is the Lumberyard. And so it's going to be everything from apartments to retail to this is really cool. Retail or apartments, like townhomes over retail. Like that's like downtown Clermont. Yeah. What is this crap? Like I said crap. I mean, it's not crap. I was like, I didn't want to say like
what is this amazing thing?
What is this amazing thing? I mean, these renderings are.
This is great because you know what Clermont reminds me of a lot of? It's like our rural, like outdoorsy people, right?
Yeah.
The people that love to jog and kayak and just be outside.
The
with
lakes
nature.
Are pristine and like absolutely gorgeous.
Kind of has like a little bit of like DeLand vibes. You know how all those like nature trails are in DeLand? It has that, but more to it, right? More outdoor spaces, more commercial. This is amazing.
No, it's really cool. I mean,
I wish if you're not watching, this looks so cool. It's like bistros on the bottom, like all big windows. You could see, like a little coffee shop and a smoothie place. And then above that, people are living.
Yeah.
That's cool. We're at the city now.
And then this is like the sawmill. So this is going to be a brewery and they're going to have like open air up like second floor. So here's the thing, like picture this, Kristen, like second floor with the bar up there and it's all beautiful, but this actually overlooks Lake Mineola.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm honestly trying to think of anywhere else in Central Florida where
It
you're
overlooks a lake like that.
yeah.
Del Webb.
It's like, seriously,
Yeah.
if they're like a man-made, this is like going to be this giant. I don't know. I think people are sleeping on Clermont in general, but kind of wild to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kim asks, is Serenoa Lakes considered South or North Clermont? I would say that it's pretty mid, like really it's about middle Clermont.
Serenoa Lakes is basically Winter Garden.
Yeah, especially when that connector road comes through. You were telling me about what does the
sign
say?
Talking about Serenoa Lakes. There's a sign, that little dirt path, as soon as they pave it between Serenoa Lakes and Ovation, is going to be insanity. And there's a sign right out front of it that says, well, there's a little sign that says, do not use this dirt road. You're going to get in trouble. So don't use it. And then there's another sign that says completion estimated 2025.
Yep.
I mean, come on. That's crazy. You can say you can live in Serenoa Lakes. Right now, they're offering $20,000 off of closing costs for their inventory homes and a rate buy down to 4.99 on their inventory homes. And when that connector is finished, you will be 8 minutes from Disney World.
Yeah, it's gonna be, that's something I keep telling people. Like, I think
living in Clermont,
which again takes 35 minutes or something like that right now. It's insane. Pickles asks, hey, any update on Sam's Club coming to Hamlin? We desperately need one in Clermont and Winter Garden. I agree. Obviously the Costco opened this year. That's another big story for people that live in the Clermont/Winter Garden area. But no, there's been no movement over there. I drive past it every morning waiting for something to kind of start, breaking ground so I can pass that along. And as of right now, there's been no update for the past year. I've
never been to a Sam's Club. Do you go to Sam's Club?
No, we're kind of Costco folks.
Costco.
Yeah. Costco, Target, Publix.
Pretty comparable though, right?
On rotation. L. Roberts asks, does Posit Group know any design build firms that could help remodeling an older home that could be used as a primary residence? No, and non-investment or property. Yeah, L. Roberts, reach out to me. I'm happy to kind of give you a few. It depends on the location you're in. It depends on your budget, because I do have like kind of more the middle of the road design build firm, and then a really, really high end one. And you don't want to overspend. And obviously they're going to come out and try to sell you anything, but feel free. I've got 2 in mind that I can definitely shoot you over. So info@positgroup.com if you want to email me, and I will reply back. Dawn says, hey, how do you sign up for the newsletter? Just go to theorlandoreal.com and just click on where it says sign up for the newsletter. Drop your email in there.
Hi, Dawn. I know Dawn.
You know Dawn?
Yeah. Hey, sign up for our newsletter.
I know. Yeah, do it. Kim says she's moving. She has where she's building.
Serenoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kim, you're a fan. You get it.
You totally get it. You know what's going on. All right. So what's the big deal for next year? What's going on?
Next year, I mean, a lot's going on next year. You and I are both running a marathon in 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
We're doing the Disney Marathon, and then we've got big goals for next year. We're onboarding new people. Our team is growing. What's our goal? What's our home goal next year?
We want to help at least 650 people find home in Orlando. That's our goal. And so we're going to be, I think honestly, with interest rates coming down, we're already seeing it now where interest rates are in the 6s. And so more and more people are starting to reach out, which is kind of cool.
So fun. Absolutely. We're very excited. So send us your friends, send us your family. We want to hit that goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you all again for making 2023 such an amazing year and enduring all of the craziness that is Florida and our lives right now.
So fun.
So
hey,
good.
If this shows anything though, the news is a little loud.
This is true. There's so much good. And sometimes you have to filter through it. That's what I love doing, is like slowing down and like finding what the good is. Cause it's so easy to find somebody broke in here, somebody got hurt there. It's just like, let's make positivity louder. Yeah. And I think that's what we do so well here.
I hope so. I think we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.